Since the beginning of time, the age-long argument has been whether man gets to control his future or not. The answer is yes and no. Man gets to control his future by the choices he makes. As an individual, a third party can alter the future of another man by changing his choice slightly. Even if a choice is made a few minutes or a few seconds earlier, this results in a whole new story for the individual and the people who his choice affects. I am one of the watchers missed the part. Join me as we take a look into the multiverse of madness, and we look at the season finale of Season 1, Episode 21, What If a Zombie Apocalypse Happened Before Loki had came to Earth, during Fury's big week. Reality 287. Thor stood in front of the destroyer, standing still after he had made his appeal that Loki should not harm those innocents anymore, just taking him. For a moment, the destroyer stopped in his tracks, automatically suppressing the heat vision that it had prepared. It moved away, only to return a surprising comeback slap, which knocked Thor out immediately. Of course, his humble sacrifice awokened the powers of Mjolnir, and his hammer came back to him, allowing him to wield the mighty powers of lightning. Thor immediately engaged the destroyer in a fight, where he came victorious instantly. As he defeated the destroyer, he went back to Jane and his friends, celebrating his win. What they did not notice in their excitement was that a man nearby had just collapsed, completely transforming into a hideous zombie. It had taken a very long time, but with the TVA and the Celestials of each reality, they were able to locate their respective zombies and put an end to them, including the original zombies, Spider-Man aka Ned Leeds, and Peggy Carter. However, the Watcher knew that in one reality, ending the zombie virus would be extremely difficult, because unlike other realities, the zombie virus had eaten deep into reality 287. I only hoped that there was a way to end this mad virus, but I had to leave it to the warriors of Earth to find a way. Reality 287. When Steve finally awoke, he was quite unsurprised to hear the radio, talking about a game. However, he noticed something was strange about the game. Soon enough, a woman stepped into the room to talk to him. When he discovered that the room was faked, he immediately broke out, running into a random street. As he reached the street, seeing no cars and no lights, he was immediately shocked when an alien being dropped in front of him. She smiled at him and introduced herself. Her name was Carol Danvers, aka the Captain Marvel. Reality 287. Learning that he was asleep for 70 years, it was shocking on its own, but learning there was a zombie apocalypse that shook the entire world was more shocking for Steve to understand. For the past few years, Steve had been just like the others, fighting hard to survive in a zombie-infested world. Perhaps what hurt him the most was the loss that had already been incurred in those few years. Most recurrent on his mind was the death of Tony Stark, a man who Steve had just started to know. Steve would never forget the day they tried to rescue a team of health workers from these zombies. Of course, these superpowered zombies had pinned Tony down and bit him, instantly infecting him. But for the timely assistance of Captain Marvel, Steve knew that he would have been lost as well. Reality 444. Time Variance Authority. Headquarters. Ever since he lost Sylvie to the zombie virus, Loki had been researching back-to-back on ways to reverse such a horrible curse. With his team, he knew that such power was granted by the Darkhold. He wondered what sort of magic was strong enough to erase the Darkhold effects in one entire reality. And then it finally occurred to Loki. There was only one way he could get rid of all of the zombies in the affected reality. But such a way would cost a sacrifice. Nick Fury was surprised when the zombies had finally managed to breach S.H.I.E.L.D's defenses and attack the facility. The superpowered undead proceeded to wreak havoc on the facility, killing and turning as many people as possible. While Nick Fury struggled to find another way out, Captain Marvel, Natasha Romanoff, Hawkeye, the Hulk, and Captain America all stood their grounds and prepared to fight those monsters. They fought valiantly, ensuring they had killed every zombie that had even come an inch close to them. However, luck began to run out for them. It didn't take long for the Hulk to be bitten, and he began to painfully transform. As he transformed, Natasha screamed in horror, but Clint held her from reaching to the big guy. He was gone now. As the tides had turned against the heroes, there was a surprise when a portal opened, and Loki of Reality 444 stepped through it. Using a rather fancy stick to annihilating several zombies, Thor was shocked. Thor fell from the sky, and without wasting time, he began to fight the zombies. Thor had since considered coming back to Earth, but since the Bifrost was destroyed, he couldn't. His surprise was unimaginable. Heimdall had suddenly announced that he had the power to fix the Bifrost, allowing Thor to arrive at this moment. The heroes retreated for a while, taking deep breaths. Loki immediately noted that the dark magic that created the zombies was from the Infinity Stones. Thus his plan was to use the 6 Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet to erase every zombie from this reality. Before he could speak further, the Infinity Gauntlet was retrieved by the zombies. However, the heroes fought hard to get it back, going through as many zombies as possible. As they battled strongly, Clint also fell in battle. Loki got bitten by a zombie, and he immediately used his time stick to prune himself, giving one last smile before blasting himself into nothingness. At this point, the remaining heroes knew that they were outnumbered and would soon be overpowered. How were they going to go through this? As they continued to fight, everything finally reached a tipping point. Steve Rogers holding the Infinity Gauntlet and ready to use it. However, the God of Thunder knocked him away, seizing the gauntlet and snapped his fingers immediately. And just like that, the zombies began to cry in pain, all fading away. Thor fell to the floor, dying as the gauntlet had used up most of its energy to dispel this reality of the Darkhold's influence as well. Natasha, Steve, and Carol kneeled by him, noting that the God of Thunder needed peace now, and with that, Thor closed his eyes, dying. With that, I had a heavy sign for this epic battle. The nightmare that Mobius had begun had finally ended. However, I knew that it was far from over. In fact, everything was only the beginning. For humans and aliens are capable of choices, and these choices could be influenced, and this influence can either make or destroy nations. I am one of the Watchers missed the part, and it is my responsibility to watch everyone. And that is going to be it for What If Season 1, Episode 21. If you guys do enjoy these Marvel's What If videos and want to stay all up to date with the latest content, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn those notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. That being said, take care and have a fantastic day.